Every powerful photograph has a powerful story behind it. Travel photographer Richard Ianson goes behind the scenes of Buddhist rituals in Bhutan, where he has heard of a sacred fire festival that appears to swallow people whole.
The structure behind me will be set alight. I've never seen it before. This should be absolutely spectacular.
Richard then travels to a remote region in northern India, searching for the holy grail of wildlife photography, the snow leopard.
It definitely feels a little bit like a needle in a haystack, but we've got a great team and we're looking forward to giving it our best shot.
He then ventures south to capture one of the world's most colourful religious events, the Festival of Holi.
It's really hard conditions to work and be attacked with colour powder. The first photo I ever took was a travel photo. I was 10 and I was on my first big overseas trip. I remember the moment that I took that picture as though it were yesterday. The click of the shutter. It must have made a deep impression. Even from that early age, I saw a fantastic connection between travel and photography. I usually have two reasons for shooting. The most general reason is that I shoot what's called stock photography, which means I can shoot any subject anywhere. At the same time, I'm usually working on one or two very specific projects. My two current projects are the Himalaya and festivals of the world. I'm drawn back time and time again to the Himalaya because of this captivating combination of the most dramatic mountain scenery in the world and the living culture that lives in this landscape. I'm now heading to Bhutan, where I've heard about this sacred fire festival, which I'm really looking forward to photographing. It's very early in the morning and we do have a 2-day drive ahead of us, but the monasteries in Bhutan are really active. And first thing in the morning there's usually a morning prayer, so I can't resist going in to see if I can gain access. The rooms are wonderfully atmospheric. They're filled with incense smoke, and once the monks start chanting from the Buddhist scriptures and then the instruments are played, it's got this incredible, almost medieval atmosphere.
After the morning prayers, Richard is beckoned by voices and claps echoing from the courtyard below. Debating is an ancient Buddhist ritual where one monk will make an argument to another. It's then the task of the seated opponent to refute the position. As well as practicing Buddhist philosophy, it helps the young monks quash their ego by not letting them get attached to their personal viewpoints.
We've been up here in the Nalanda Monastery since sunrise, and for the last hour or so we've been photographing the monks debating. It's a fantastic atmosphere. It's really noisy as they make their points to each other and then argue back and forth. The festivals around the world are just sensational destinations as a travel photographer. I love that excitement. I love the chase for the image. I run around like a madman, capturing as many images of as many subjects in as many places as possible, because I'm totally chasing that depth and breadth in order to give what I consider a realistic view of the place.
The Jambe Lahang Drup is a religious festival celebrating the completion of the temple in Bhutan in the 7th century. Richard is intent on capturing tomorrow night's Mewang, the exuberant fire blessing ceremony. But first, he discovers an opportunity to capture some rehearsals taking place in an old palace nearby.
One of my aims on this trip is to get behind the scenes of these festivals, to see the monks preparing for these dances, putting on the costumes, the masks that are really intricate and sometimes quite frightening. These are the scenes that most people don't get to see. We're here watching the final preparations for tomorrow night's fire blessing ceremony, which is part of one of Bhutan's most spectacular festivals. The structure behind me will be set alight and the local people run through in order to wash away their sins. I've never seen it before. It should be absolutely spectacular. I just can't wait to photograph it.
In the evening, crowds pour into the Jambe Lahang to witness the fire ceremony. Fires are lit to exorcise evil, and then the festival begins with the dance of the Black Hats. They then move into a field adjacent to the monastery where the structure that was built is ignited. This ancient ritual is said to purify all those who enter the structure. Bhutanese from around the region flock to brave the flaming archway, hoping to bring prosperity for the coming year.
That was awesome. It went from a very sacred religious festival to sort of absolute chaos as they set fire to the structure and all the people came running through. Absolutely fantastic. Never seen anything like it.
Richard is now travelling to the remote and rarely frequented region of Ladakh in the Indian Himalaya. He has been visiting here since the mid-80s, photographing the people, the festivals and the monasteries.
This time we've set ourselves a completely new challenge, and that is to photograph the Himalaya's most iconic species of wildlife, the snow leopard. Jigmet, how long have you been tracking snow leopards?
For the last 17 years.
17 years?
Yeah, 17 years.
And how many leopards are in this part of the world?
Covering 150 square kilometer, 9-10 cats in this area.
The snow leopard has become a bit of a holy grail for wildlife photographers, and I think we now know why. But we've got the best snow leopard tracker with us, we've got a great team, and we're looking forward to giving our best shot.
Richard walks up the valley to a small plateau where he and his team will make camp and begin the search. A group of local trackers get to work with their spotting scopes, looking for any signs of leopards on the surrounding ridgelines.
It definitely feels a little bit like a needle in a haystack, but it's only our first evening, so we've got plenty of time, and looking forward to making this happen.
Yeah, this is good sign. This is the main trail of snow leopard. So we know that, the cat is walking in this area.
Richard and his team now embark on several days searching the frozen and barren hills for this most elusive of creatures, which some call the ghost cat.
Yeah, I can see him. very exciting, but it's not a photo. It's a little bit too far away. We put in long hours, and since that first sighting on the first day, we haven't had any other sign of a snow leopard. It's really, really disappointing.
Now what happens?
Disappointed but not deterred, Richard has decided to leave Ladakh for the district of Madhya Pradesh in search of another elusive wildcat. Tigers of Bandhavgarh.
Bandhavgarh Park is quite big, around 70 square kilometer, and here a tiger population around 75 tiger we have, included cubs. In India, very few tiger left, around 1400 tiger left in India. That's why we have very important Bandhavgarh Park, breeding park.
So Richard, we had a few really bitterly tough days trying to track down the snow leopard, so you haven't given up on a big cat?
You never give up. No, I suspect our chances of seeing tigers are a lot higher than the chances of seeing snow leopard. The guides have just spotted fresh footprints in the sandy road, and we've just heard a warning call from a peacock, so we're pretty sure there's a tiger quite close to us now. The tiger is really close now, so it's very exciting. A little bit frustrating because we were here less than 5 minutes ago, and we've just discovered this very, very fresh sort of outline of the tiger who's laid down in the sand, and you can see the flick of her tail. So she's here somewhere. We've been out in the park since 6 o'clock this morning, and there's a couple of hours of daylight left. We know there's a tiger somewhere. We're still waiting. The anticipation is growing, but so much about great photography, great wildlife photography is about waiting, being patient. This is very exciting. We've had our first tiger sighting. Female, about 3 years old, came out of the bushes and walked onto the road. We were able to follow, then she just sat down in the middle of the road and had a look around. We probably had about 5 minutes with her before she's now moved away. We've got some great photographs already, but that's the problem with this game. If there's an opportunity to take another photo, it could be the best one, so here we are again in pursuit of another tiger.
Tiger with the kill. Can you see the tiger with the kill? Can you see it? First we heard the call of the spotted deer, alarm call of the spotted deer, and suddenly we saw the tigers carry the small baby of the deer in the mouth. In the last 14 years, this is my second tiger sighting like that. It's very, very rare to see like that.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime sighting, and this is what I live for as a photographer.
India is known as the land of spirituality and is the birthplace of 4 of the world's major religions: Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism and Hinduism. The roots of Hinduism are thought to date back over 5,000 years, which many scholars believe makes it one of the oldest organized religions in the world. The myriad of Hindu festivals throughout India has been a major reason Richard finds himself returning year after year.
I'm now on my way to Vrindavan in Uttar Pradesh to photograph one of India's most colourful and exuberant festivals, the Festival of Holi, famously known around the world as the Festival of Colours. We've arrived in Vrindavan in northern India. As you can see, I have a little bit of colour already. I've only just arrived, and the camera's well protected because I'm expecting a lot of powder and a lot of coloured water to be thrown my way over the next couple of days.
Holi is a festival that celebrates the arrival of spring, the triumph of good over evil, and the excitement of a plentiful harvest to come. The kaleidoscope of flying colours represents joy, celebration, and new growth.
The priests have just finished the ceremony, and now they're dousing the crowd with coloured water and coloured powder. I've taken a couple of direct hits already, as you can see, and there's plenty more to come. Another one. We're out on the streets now, heading from one temple to another. More of the same, I expect, but possibly bigger crowd. It's absolutely brilliant being able to get a bit of elevation in here. It's really crowded down there and we'll be down there soon. But to get an overall view from this high point is something I'm always searching for.
The Bangi Bahari Temple is a highly revered shrine and becomes the heartbeat of the Holi celebrations here in Vrindavan. Famous throughout India, this temple is a fitting location for Richard to capture the joy that Holi brings to millions of people around the world.
To shoot these events properly, you just got to get in there. There's no other way to get that intimacy, that close-up, that sense of what it's really like. You just have to be prepared. Wear clothes you don't mind losing, cover the gear so it's protected, and go for it. No one's safe around here, not even the holy cows. The atmosphere is amazing. It is really friendly, really jovial. Everyone's pretty happy. Happy Holi. You certainly need to keep a sense of humour. Thank you. Happy Holi. Uh-oh. Here comes the red.
The finale of the celebrations takes place several kilometres away in Mathura, the birthplace of Lord Krishna. Baldev Temple stages one of the most iconic rituals of the Holi festival, Haranga. Men playfully tease the women and they retaliate by tearing the clothes off the men and beating them. The electric atmosphere builds to a point where a procession enters the spectacle and the temple is flooded with water. The only way for Richard to truly capture the chaos is to enter it himself.
flies taken off me. Raging women with saris. I've always had the ability to feel comfortable wherever I am. I do my best to blend in, which isn't that easy given I'm a 6-foot-tall white male. At a really simple level, travel photography provides a visual record of places visited. But at its best, it can provide an insight into the world at large in all its diversity. I just love the process of discovering and photographing new places. I expect to keep doing this forever. I can't really imagine stopping. It's what I love. It's who I am. And there are far too many places in the world still to see.